Hello all, just putting together a quick video for you on inversions. So let's just jump straight in. Right, so inversions are just a different way of rearranging the notes in a chord. There are three notes in a triad: the root, the third and the fifth. And because there are three different notes, there are three possible ways that we can arrange those notes. We can arrange them so that the root is on the bottom, so that we're in root position. We can arrange them so the third is on the bottom, which is first inversion, the first sort of change. We can rearrange them so that the fifth is on the bottom, so that we're in second inversion. And you'll notice that I've given you these sort of Roman numerals here. So when we're in root position, we say this is chord 1 in C major. If we're in C major, this is the tonic chord. So I've said that this is chord 1, and then I've put A in brackets. Now, that A is optional. You can put it in there, but really, if you just wrote chord 1, it's still clear that it's a root position chord. You would usually only use A, 1A, if you wanted to make it especially clear that the triad is in root position. So in this case, we've got 1A in brackets, first inversion. Here, where the third is on the bottom of the chord, is 1B, and second inversion, where the fifth is on the bottom, is 1C. So that's basically it. That's the main thing with an inversion. The key thing to remember, though, is that the deciding factor is the bottom note. When we are labelling a chord and the inversion it's in, so either 1A, B, or C, it's really the bottom note that makes that decision for us. So here in this example, we've got three chords: 1A, 1B, and 1C. One in first inversion, one in root position, one in first inversion, and one in second inversion. But here we've got the same chord in the right hand. It's just the bottom note that changes, and because that bottom note has changed each time, we need to label those chords differently. One in root position, one in first inversion, one in second inversion, 1, 1B, and 1C. And these changes, they're not superficial changes. Each of these inversions have different sounds, and they've got different degrees of stability. So if I just play through them, here's chord 1 in root position, and that sounds stable. It's absolutely fine. We can sit on that chord for days. Absolutely okay. And then if we move over to chord 1B, that's okay as well. But maybe that's just a tiny bit less stable than our root position chord. That's not quite a sort of a definite sound. And then if we move over to 1C, our second inversion chord, that chord definitely wants to move. And it wants to move because we've got this fourth in it between the bottom note, the fifth, and the root. And that fourth is treated as a dissonance, and it needs to resolve. So the way it usually resolves is like this. And in the right hand, the fourth moves down a step, and it becomes a third. That's, broadly speaking, the different characteristics of those different inversions. I've popped together a separate video on second inversion chords because there's actually quite a lot more to say about them. Because they've got that dissonance in them, we've got to be very careful about how we use second inversion chords. But I'm just going to spend a bit more time on first inversion chords now, because as well as having a kind of a less definite sound, they're often used to smooth out chord progressions as well. So as well as being used as a sound in themselves, they're used in a functional way. They're used to smooth out chord progressions and to make those joins between one chord and another less articulated. So let's have a look at these two examples. In this first one, we're going from chord 1 to chord 4. And that's quite a jump. It's quite a way to go there. And so one way that we can get rid of that sort of that divide is we can stick chord 1b in the middle. So that's 1 in first inversion, and so we get this. And so that's already a lot smoother. In the second example at the bottom, we get chord 1 going to chord 6. And that's fine, but we can make that chord change smoother still by sticking chord 5b in the middle, like so. So that's basically it. That's more or less how first inversion chords are used. If you still have some further questions or you want to explore more around the topic, you can have a look at the video on the magic triangle, and as I say, there's a separate video on second inversion chords as well. So yeah, have a look at those videos to sort of round out your knowledge, and yeah, thank you very much. See you next time.